Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Iconic with me, Danny Pellegrino. I'm here with Toya Bush-Harris from Married to Medicine. Toya, how are you doing today?
Man, I can't complain. So we just finished a tennis match. I lost.
I like seeing you play on the show. It's always fun when we see a little glimpse of tennis.
I wish they would have shown so much more. We did a whole tennis tournament this season. We did like a Black Lives charity event. It was so much fun. We actually brought the ladies out. Jackie and them came out and played. Contessa actually showed her skills. So it was good.
I love that. Toya, I have so much I got to talk to you about with this show right now. Now, this past week on the show, we saw you come to blow with Quad and Heavenly. First of all, I want to know, were you more upset with Heavenly or the Quad of it all? Like which was it? Or was it both?
You know what? Actually, it was so hard to watch, because it just took me back to that whole place, and really and truly, I was more upset equally, because, I don't know if Heavenly knew, but I want to say she probably did, because I know Heavenly can be really messy. But I mean, Quan and I had already discussed that scenario. So I was really surprised to see her bring it up in front of the group as if it was something brand new. And that's what really was like, wait a minute now, we can go talk about this in private. But what I don't want to do is keep hashing things out in front of this group and making it a gang up session. I was like, I don't know where we went wrong in our communication before, but it's obvious she still wasn't understanding, where I was coming from with the apartment comment. So I was like, you know what, maybe we could talk about it on the side. Then Heavenly jumps in and I was like, okay, obviously Heavenly just wants to be messy. And so it was just very frustrating to watch, and it just blows up from there.
Right. Now, there's been a lot of speculation because to me, at least watching it, it seemed like you were more hurt than angry or more, I don't know if, does that make sense? It seemed like there was something else behind it.
It's been that way, to be honest, all season. It started off with me being angry. I was like, oh, I'm out of COVID. I just want to party. I want to have fun, and so it was like everything was affecting me in a different way. It was a lot of frustration. But, as the season progressed, it was like my feelings started getting hurt. And everybody knows I'm like a pineapple on the outside. I'm kind of hard, but then on the inside, I'm really soft. And so, when my feelings get hurt, it's like my emotions get involved and I get teary-eyed and I get frustrated. And then I just start running away from scenarios. And I think that was when Simone started getting involved because she's like, I don't want you running away, and I just felt like, I didn't know how to handle it. It's like, how do you handle it when you're being kind of put in scenarios where you're not really able to defend yourself or talk about your emotions because you feel like you're just, it's always two or three, and they're always like so aggressive, because then I get aggressive and I can be really aggressive. So,
we saw Dr. Jackie. You had said something, I believe, when you had left Quad's place, that you were upset Dr. Jackie didn't say something. Can you explain a little bit more how you're feeling in terms of Dr. Jackie?
It goes back to season 1. It's like when Dr. Jackie first came on to Married to Medicine, we always looked at her almost as if she was like the voice of reason. Not to say she's always right. Let's not say that. But she always was a very calm and had a very calm spirit about her. And she was one of those individuals that liked to see both sides. I always saw that in her anyway. And it just seemed like within the last maybe 3 years, she's been more of a watchful individual on the show, as opposed to someone that actually gives her opinion or, brings everyone back together. It's like she's kind of taken a back seat and decided that, you know what? The best avenue for me is to stay quiet. That way they leave me alone. No one attacks me. This is how I stay out of the scenario. And it's actually, it's a scary thing to watch because it's almost like you're taking the approach of let me just allow everyone else to take the mental and sometimes physical abuse. And I'll just sit back and, say, sorry, as long as it's not me.
Yeah, I could see how that'd be frustrating. Now, Anila, you were the one who brought her on the show, and you guys seem to have, I don't know, not been able to get along. And there was this idea that she didn't pay the makeup artist. Can you explain that? Did she not pay?
Gosh, I almost wish we had 20 episodes as opposed to 18, because, there's so much to tell around that story. When we were on the bus, it originally started with a phone call from the makeup artist and the hairdresser to me. And they were like, "Are you guys leaving?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're on our way. We're out of here. We're going to dinner. And then we're going back to Atlanta." And they're like, "Well, they're like, Toya, she didn't pay us." And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, why would y'all let her not pay you for the first time? And they're like, "Oh, well, we were just thinking that she would pay us all in one lump sum." And I was like, oh. And so at this moment, I'm now feeling like, oh my God, and they're like, "Well, do you want to pay her bill?" Whoa. No.
Right.
Because this is like an $800 bill.
Yeah.
No. And so I, initially I look over to my friend and I'm like, "Hey, are you going to pay the makeup artist?" And the hairdresser, she's like,
"That ain't okay. That's not okay." Yeah.
It was not. Okay.
I was on your side with that. I'm like, yeah, we should call it out. If somebody's not paying the hair and makeup people, you have to pay those people.
And I'm telling you, initially when she said it, Contessa was sitting there and she just was like, "Let me go to the back of the bus before I just get involved in something." She said, we all couldn't believe it. We were like, "Did you just say it?" It was like a joke. And she was like, "They'll get paid when they get paid." And it was unbelievable. Right.
Did she eventually pay? Do we know that she paid?
Yes. I mean, okay. I talked to both of my stylists and Glam, and they were like, they eventually did get paid, and they were like, they will never do business with her again.
Right. You mentioned Contessa. I'm curious what you think of her and Scott's relationship, because we're seeing it. It seems like those two. I don't know. It's almost sad to watch those two in scenes together. What do you think?
You know what? I will say this. Now that Contessa and I are in a place where we are speaking, and our sons, they play soccer, and so I see them every Sunday, and I'm prayerful with them. I've given her one of my favorite books, The Praying Wife, and I even sent her one for her husband, The Praying Husband. And that's really all you can do, because at this point in your marriage, when you have a woman crying out for her husband to try to make a marriage work, because she's obviously saying that there's some issues, and when you get on television, you're not going to divulge every issue. You know what I mean? I think that what you're seeing is part of the story, and I think that it's up to Contessa and Scott to decide, how much they want to put on national television. But I think she is definitely saying, "Hey, we're not the perfect couple, and we're going through something right now. And I just need my husband to acknowledge that we're going through something. And I need, you to undergird me, help me, say you're going to work with me in this instead of running away from it." So, I mean, what's painful to watch is him running away from it, and it's like,
And I mean, I couldn't imagine. You guys were filming in the earlier part of the pandemic. I imagine it must have been challenging even to get in front of that camera, let alone also dealing with your own personal relationship at home.
I think that was actually the most challenging part, for me. Yeah, I couldn't imagine what was going on in the other ladies' households, but for within this household, my husband being an ER doctor, it was like he went from seeing very minor things like, "Oh, let me sew her up. She, maybe bust her head. She maybe has a cut, or, some major things, but there was, nothing. It was like he was seeing death every single day that he went into work, and then he was coming home trying to put a smile on his face, and it was just so depressing. And I think it was weighing on him so much that it started weighing on family. And I think the happy person that I was used to being around was slowly slipping away, and I was thinking that maybe, it was all related to COVID, but not knowing also that he was dealing with low testosterone, which has its own side effects, slightly depression, slightly low sex drive, all kinds of other, things that men go through that they didn't that I was so thankful that he actually shared it, because he was like, some men, they don't share.
A lot of men would not share that. I thought it was so amazing that he was talking openly about that.
Stay in relationships and then they get a divorce because they don't want to talk about it, and they just become a whole nother man in a relationship, which is just like women when we go through menopause, So it was a lot, going into the season, having that on our back and then trying to, film a successful season. And people are like, she's a drunk. And I'm like, no, I'm not a drunk. I'm just going through a lot here.
Well, I'll be honest. I cover a lot of these Bravo shows, and I think you guys, for some reason, never have a bad season. I think like you guys are so consistently good. And even during the pandemic, I sort of was thinking, okay, we're not going to get another good season because, these COVID seasons have been sort of rough on some of the Housewives shows, but you guys still deliver like a meaningful, dramatic, beautiful. I mean, it has like all the elements. And so I just want to commend all of you ladies on a good season so far. And we still have a few episodes left, but it's like,
we had so more footage. I'm telling you, it was so much more. I mean, I just wish they would have shown so much more. I mean, really and truly, because it could have been even better. I mean, it was amazing. We came together on so many other different avenues to me that were more positive, but I think that, we delivered this season based on, and on every other season, I think based on, real life scenarios. I think once we get to that place where we stop, talking about our real issues, I think that's when we go wrong. I truly, appreciate the fact that I married a man that doesn't mind sharing his home environment, and our real stories. I mean, I think for me, the only issue that I had this season was when my castmates started lying, and coming up with little ad-libbing to our life. Because me and Eugene, we pride ourselves on being very transparent and very upfront, even with our happy moments and our sad moments. And so I felt like I was defending a lot. And I was like, man.
I love your husband. I love Eugene. I like seeing the guys on your show too, in general. We've had a lot of old people come back. We had Lisa Nicole this season. We have Carey this season. Do you like having some of those cast members back, or do you feel like you didn't care for that?
I feel like, to be honest, I feel like, I'm one of those individuals who feels like Married to Medicine is great because of every last person that has been on Married to Medicine. There's not a person or episode that to me has not had meaning. Like, I'll never forget Jill Connors. I'll never forget, Carey, some of her one-liners, and Lisa Nicole and all the things that we went through, So I feel like everybody brought value, the Buffy, it's just like when you look back at the Denise's, everybody shared something amazing to our show. And so there's no point in time where, for me, they don't deserve to come back, and share the spotlight, and at this time they were a part of my life. So they definitely deserve to be here.
Yeah, I like seeing people pop up. I want to know what's going on with everybody. Anything you want to clear up from this season? Like, is there anything specific that you've seen or that's bugging you that you just want to let people know this is not true, or this was whatever? Anything you want to clear up?
I think for me, the bottom line is, me and my husband, we have had some amazing buying experiences in Atlanta. When we first moved here, we purchased and we built a home in the Cascade area. We sold that house, and then we built this house, and it's an amazing home, but right now it's a seller's market, and everybody's like, oh, she's having financial problems. We're not having financial problems. If anything, we're doing quite well, and we are excited if we find a buyer, because, there are other places that we would love to live in the Atlanta area. Atlanta's popping. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful, beautiful city to live in. And it's tons of communities. I think at the end of the day, people just, they look for things that are negative And I would love for people to look for the positive, and stay in there.
I would imagine it's hard though, because you were so forthcoming about your financial stuff in a previous season. It's almost like that's the thing now that people focus on. And so I imagine it's hard to get rid of that label.
Yeah. And it's so sad because it's like, I don't want to take that. I would never take it back. I would never go back and say I changed that season, because for us, we did it because that was a learning experience for us and people in our culture. That was like, we never were raised with someone sitting us down and saying, okay, let's talk about your finances and let me show you and set you up for success. Like, we are now setting our children up for success. My husband and I last night was like, okay, we're going to open up this type of account and we're going to put this money aside so that when they're 18, we'll be able to bless them with this money. And when they're 21, we'll be able to bless them with this money. And we'll leave this house over here for them and this, vacation home for them. But we didn't have that growing up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's an amazing thing now to be able to say, this is the generation, we're the generation that's changing our generation going forward. And so I do hate that they only see that we had an area in our life where we, had a setback, but it's in those setbacks that you actually grow. Mm-hmm. And so, hey, if that's all they can dwell on, that's okay. We're just going to keep doing our thing. Nobody wants to brag about having a lot of money and things anyway, because that's when the IRS come and knocking and looking and all that stuff.
There you go.
We letting the people say we broke. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tell me, but I know I got to wrap this up, but tell me about your relationship with the other women now. Like, are you getting along with everyone? Are you not getting, what's going on?
So right now, everyone. So right now, of course, me and Jackie, we're in a good place. We don't go hang out. Hey, ladies, hush. We're not going hanging out at the club or anything like that, but we never did. Me and Dr. Salone, that's my big sis. So her and Cecil are always over for dinner, and we're over there for dinner as well. Dr. Contessa and I, oddly enough, you got to see at the reunion how that unfolded. But she's been over for dinner too, and we've been cool. So I'm really excited about that relationship and how that's budding. And the other ladies, Anila's a neighbor. Mm-hmm. I drive by.
Wait, so did you guys film the reunion already?
So we are leaving in 2 days.
Oh my God. Okay. So
right there.
Oh my God. I can't wait. So must be things that you want to clear up. You didn't mention Quad or Heavenly when I just asked you that. So there must be things you want to clear up with them.
There are some things that I'm going to clear up, but you can't wait for the reunion. I can't give all of this stuff now. I mean, because that's where, if I give you too much, then what'll happen is they'll be prepared.
Oh, that's true.
So I gotta come and just, make sure I'm so,
Well, I gotta say, I'm so excited. I have 2 last questions for you, but before I let you go, I want to say that I'm just so grateful for all of you ladies, because truly, I'd say the most consistently great TV show on Bravo is Married to Medicine. It's never not good. It's just always great. So thank you. And the production company, I think Purveyors of Pop, is great too. Okay. So the last 2 things I ask everyone, number 1, what's your favorite Mariah Carey song? I'm a huge Mariah Carey fan. And then also, if you were choosing Sexiest Man Alive, who would you choose? And you can't choose Eugene, although some of us might. You can't do that.
So right now, oh my goodness, these are hard questions for me because, I have a favorite Mariah Carey song, but what's the one when she's like, what was her comeback album?
We Belong Together.
Yes. Yeah, it's the We Belong Together album. And she had a song on there about
the emancipation of Mimi was the album.
Yeah. And so, but it's not that We Belong Together. It's not that one. It was when she was going off of it. It was, oh God, I can't think.
Oh, maybe Shake It Off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That whole album is amazing.
That whole album. Yeah. I'll never forget. I'll be in the hair salon. Everybody was from that. It was just okay. And as far as Sexiest Man Alive, I used to say Idris Elba. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but Michael B. Jordan is like giving it to the people lately.
He's gorgeous. I know. Toya, this was so fun. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. I want to encourage everyone to watch Married to Medicine. We all can't wait for the reunion. Find Toya on social media. And Toya, this was so fun. I'm sure you don't remember, but I met you very briefly backstage at BravoCon. I was hosting one of the panels.
I've talked to you before. I'm like,
that whole BravoCon was insane. But I remember you guys all had a panel, and I took a picture with your entire cast, and it was like the greatest moment of my life because it was all of you together at once. So it was so fun.
Because that was so much.
It was so fun. It was so fun. Hopefully I'll see you there again this year. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes.
Bye, Toya. Take care. Thank you.